Let me give you a little intro to this. I told you I'm steady courting people, man. I want students, man. But I'm not going to deprive my people that I'm a minister to. I had a long message from one of my empresses. She was like, are you going to stop just giving the messages? Because she like, we depend on you. We don't go to church and we depend on you. You are a divine minister. So I'm going to still give Sunday lectures after we do Sunday school. Sunday school is not going to be broadcasted because Sunday school is for my students only. Monday, when we do civics and history, that's only for my students and members only. And all that will be recorded and sent to everyone individually. Any questions Moors have, we'll answer them. So give me a second. Let me grab something. I told y'all, man, these teachings is for the whole family. These teachers are not just... How can the Moor keep these teachings and don't teach his whole family? And I tell Moors, that's why your empress is not understanding, and vice versa, because you're not speaking, and it's in our prophets. It's in our ayats. Our prophet told us, Moors, speak kindly to your empresses. We're trying to educate our empresses and our children. We must speak kind to them, man. That's what this about. That's why I said, give me 12 empresses, and I change this whole movement. Because a lot of Moors be on their ego. Give me 12 washerwomen per se. Washerwomen is women that we can work, and the babies, and we'll change this whole movement. The men to come, and if they don't, oh well. Men think that they're gods alone. And I'm like, man, you got to be crazy. That's that European stuff. Talk about that's like a woman come from a man rib. How are you a god? Let me see you create life. You can't even create life. And a woman can't create life without us. We are gods together. The man and woman coming together creating life. That's the Trinity, Moors. The woman sits on the throne with us in our culture, Moors. Moors tripping. I told y'all, give me 12 empresses. Give me 12 empresses. I'll change this whole movement. I would change this whole movement. Give me 12 empresses. I told y'all, when the classes start, I guarantee you, most Moors that's not under these auspices, I guarantee they're going to be talking the same stuff next year. They're going to be posting goofy black laws. And I'm like, okay, you posting all this stuff. Why you ain't use it for yourself? Because our prophet says, take these teachings and save yourself. But you showing other people using them as crash dummies because you can't defend who you are. I defend myself every day. I'm a Moor 24 hours a day. Not just on the internet. I'm a Moor all day, every day. I defend my degrees. I defend the Constitution. I defend my whole 5/5, my nationality and spirituality that makes me a complete fifth. I defend the Constitution. Legally and lawfully. I tell y'all Moors, this our science. This masonry is our science. This ain't no European masonry. This our science, and you've been connotated. But these are there are many stories or legends pertaining to the lost or sunken civilizations. And the one most written about, Atlantis, is allegedly located beneath the Atlantic Ocean. The other sunken civilization not publicized as fervently is the lost continent of Muur or Lemura. Some scholars believe Lemura lies beneath the Indian Ocean and Muur existed beneath the Pacific Ocean. But we got to understand, in my education, it's just as the Americas, North, South, and Central was in antiquity one landmass, so was ancient Lemura. Before the Ice Age, you know what I mean? We talk about Pangea, everything was connected. That's how we were able to get to and fro. And they connotated us as pirates, but we were seafarers. I'm telling you, man. Everything was changed to make everything ugly about you. They talk about the Dark Ages. We wasn't in Dark Ages. That's their history. This is scholarship. Central, all that, all one landmass. The Lemur is a small primitive form of primitive found in Africa, Madagascar, India, and Malay archipelago. In appearance, the lemur is much like the modern monkey or ape, but they can grow up to 6 feet in height when on their hind legs. And Charles Darwin, contemporary Alfred Russel Wallace, estimates the lemur also occupied from West Africa to Burma to South China and Celebes. Also, some history you can research, The History of Creation by Ernest Haeckel, in regards to Mu and Lemur's location and the human race. He writes, the primeval home of man was a continent now sunk below the surface of the Indian Ocean. which extended along the south of Asia. When they talk about Asia, and I talk about the Africans of Asia, man, I synchronize this. They trying to throw you off. They replacing people with you. I'm telling you, man, this is too simple. As it is a present land and probably in direct connection with it, but towards the east as far as India and the Sudan Islands, west as far as Madagascar and southeastern shores of Africa. W. Scott Elliott in his book Story of Atlantis and the Lost Lemuria states Lemuria at the time of its greatest expansion nearly girdled the globe, extending as it then did from the site of the present Cape Verde Islands a few miles from the coast of Sierra Leone in a southeasterly direction through Africa, Australia, the Society Islands, and all their intervening seas to a point but a few miles distant from a great island continent which spread over the remaining of the Pacific Ocean and included Cape Horn and parts of Patagonia. W. Scott Elliott was a theosophist, and he said he received his knowledge from a astral clairvoyance. And it's from my education and scholarship that the ancient Muur or Lemurians were of modern day Muur stock, just as scholars pigeonhole the Moor Empire to Spain and parts of North Africa. They also pigeonhole the geography of Muur and Lemuria. But I'm taking our history back. Why somebody gonna teach you about your history except your own brother that have all degrees that everybody else have and real degrees? History is law. Where more giving you history? Where more giving you law? All they talk about is a whole bunch of old stuff. Please, man. At its height, the Moor Empire encompassed the entire earth. And in the next segment of this science I'm going to give y'all, I'm going to go into various ancient artifacts illustrating our illustrious national headdress, the fez, the tarbouch, the heenan, in the very same locations concerning the Muur or Lemuria location or the locale. So in homage of our fez, the national headdress of the Moors, since remote antiquity, has been held as an object of respect and honor, symbolically, and at times literally the person wearing the fez should possess high knowledge and power. In Turkey and other parts of the Mediterranean, the fez is known as a tarbouch. In ancient Canaan, Phoenicia, the conical fez is known as the heenan. This type of fez was also used by the ancient order of Magi. I hope y'all follow me. Hold on. Thanks for calling me, too. Please do. What you mean, certain size? Like, what size? I don't have I stopped at 62. Yeah. I don't have it. I don't have that size. I stopped at 62. You said his jacket size is a 62. What size is his jacket size? You said I can't hear you. 56. I have 56, but my alteration's not here, and we close at 9. Yeah, I can hear you. Well, like, see, it's kind of hard to measure. In my store, I put everything on you. So just because they make it that way, it might not mean that in my suit, because every suit is different. You know what I mean? I have sizes up to 62, sir.
Yeah, but I need to take a picture and see first.
3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and pocket square. $260 out the door. You have to get your pants in. We charge $12 for your pants. And if you need any other alterations, like you might need your sleeves short, there might be some other alterations you might need done. So I really can't give you a fair estimate. You know what I mean? But just basic, my 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and pocket square is $260. Yes, my three-piece suit, pants, dress, and jacket is $219. Well, my alterations, everybody is gone for the night. She leaves at 6 o'clock every day, so if you come in the morning, that'll be fine.
Maybe they have a design list for it.
Yes, sir. Can I help you guys with anything?
We're looking for green lights.
All right, take your time.
Yep.
Yep. So, where were they at? Okay. Had to take that call, y'all. So, let me see where I at. Okay, so, in modern day cinema, you know how they try to, in modern day cinema, how they try to put the turban on the fez, and they try to call them like genies and all that, because our third eye was working. Y'all don't even understand that. Like one of my favorite shows, Johnny Quest, and who y'all thought y'all know what Johnny Quest was, and who wore the fez with the jewel on it. Even in the Bible, the followers of Yahshua wore the turban with the jewel on it. And then I show y'all in our book, The Chosen People, black spiritual workers wore the fez. And okay, in the old elementary school days, if you acted up, you were told to sit in the corner, and a dunce hat was placed on the top of your head. Remember that? And this dunce hat was the fez, and it was used to reform the child's mind and bring them back to knowledge, wisdom, and a certain maturity. Whoo, did y'all hear that? That's why we wear the fez, just like the religious people wear the collar. No, we put this on our head. Let me break this down to y'all. Watch this. Listen to this. In the old elementary school days, if you acted up, you were told to sit in the corner, and a dunce hat was placed upon your head. And this dunce hat was the fez, and it was used to reform the child's mind and bring them back to knowledge, wisdom, and a certain maturity. The fez worn by the modern Moors are red in color and geometrically symbolizes the Great Pyramid in Gaza. The fez and geometrically symbolizes the Great Pyramid of Gaza. The fez is also worn by 32-degree Freemasons in the House of the Shrine. According to certain things, you got to understand that Africa and the discovery of America. You can research this stuff. The colonial hat, the fez, representing royalty or high dignity in Mexico, among the Hostinicans and elsewhere, and the Aztec, known as the Copilli, C-O-P-I-L-L-I, is linguistically identical with the hat. The words of Africa derive from the Arabic giraffe or giraffe or giraffe or jufara, J-U-F-A-R-A-H or J-I or G-I-F-A-R-A-H or G-U-F-A-R-A-H. The Arabic colonial hat, the fez or the quab, and the giraffe or the giraffe, associated with the Magi, is at the base of all the hats named in the Sudan, and apparently was originally restricted to the kingly power. The priestly power with which the colonial hat was originally associated, received for its insignia the Arabic mithrak, the rattle maracas, which though a synonym, which the Arabic means gourd, G-O-U-R-D, and religious wisdom, was made from a gourd. The Assyrian kings of Mesopotamia, as well as the eastern islands, the moist statues are depicted with fezes or adorned with attachment in the middle. The Assyrian kings wore various forms of the fez, small, medium, and large in height. All have the attachments in the middle with a tassel strap attached to the bottom of the back of the fez. The modern day fez comes with many sizes also, and has an attachment in the center top with the tassel is connected. The high priests of Assyria wore the colonial fez during their rituals. The scribes pictured in the Olmec world by the Ignacio Bernal plate 28 is wearing a high fez, with the ancient sacred symbols inscribed on the front, along with the same inscriptions on the chest plate. 79th, the statue of, I'm pronouncing it wrong, Huevolution, Huemelulpan, is pictured wearing a colonial fez, making a sign with both arms squared to his chest. When I tell y'all all those signs and symbols come from us, and fair gods and stone faces by Constance Irwin, page 151. It's a figure on that page. I'm going to break out all these books for you. Is a Hittite deity, fresco, Fresco, with a high priest adorned with a colonial fez. The Mediterranean Assyrian Mesoamerican Olmec connection is depicted in the Assyrian fez, and the fez, the shamans or religious magicians, the witch doctors, were in Mesoamerica or Mexico. I'm gonna show you all this in books. That's like on page 20 of the book Olmec World, and page 134. You got a figurine, the Tatlic, Tlatilco. It's a figure, the shaman. And in the book Fair Gods and Stone Faces, page 136, situated behind an African Olmec statue, is a bearded nobleman wearing a high fez. I'm telling you, man. The fez is the American pantheon. Simply becomes the graduation cap geometrically. I hope y'all follow me. The fez of the Eastern Island moist, MOIS, has been described as a puka, Pukao, topped with a colonial knob. This headdress is made of red volcanic material found in a small crater on the side of a large volcano known as Punapa. Punapau. I might be pronunciating it wrong. Let me see what time it is. All right. And they are classified as large cylinders from 4 to 8 feet in height and 9 feet across. This headgear has been interpreted in various ways: basket, crown, hat, turban, diadem of floors, according to Catherine and Michael Ehrlach's Eastern Island Mystery of the Stone Giants. David Hatcher Childress in the book Lost Cities of Ancient Lemuria in the Pacific States. At one end of a clubhouse of Santa Maria in the Bank Islands, there are ancient stone figures, which in one respect at least resemble the colossal statues in one variety of the representatives of the human figure found throughout Melasenia, and is almost certainly connected with the importance of head coverings in the ritual of the ancient secret societies. It is therefore of interest that head covering should be a prominent feature of the statue of Easter Islands. Even the Egyptian pectoral with a head of Ra at either cusp, an ornament spread aboard by Libyans. The heads of Ra appear to be wearing the colonial fez. Man, I can go on and on with the science, man. I can go on and on with this science, but I'm gonna stop because I'm not gonna give you too much, because the rest we gonna teach for school. I'm courting y'all. Any questions? Don't y'all know in Mackey's Masonic Encyclopedia, it described the years of Enoch's life? The years of his life may also be supposed to contain a mystic meaning, for they amounted to 365, being exactly equal to the solar revolution. I'll teach that later. That's why they kept stuff from you, man. I told you, I'm a divine minister. I illuminate this teaching. In all the ancient rites, this number has occupied a prominent place because it was the representatives of the annual course of the luminary, which as the great fruitifier of the earth was the particular object of divine worship. And Enoch's called the wisest of men in the book of Enoch. And he has been portrayed as the conveyor of knowledge. That's why in Hebrews 11:5, Enoch gains paradise and is elevated through divine knowledge. Even the Bible states that Enoch is the 7th generation from Adam. It's my understanding that the circle 7 paradigm gained its origin from Enoch's generation. This is deeper teaching. Even in the Talmud and the Targum, more than even know what I'm talking about, the Talmud. The Talmud is all about you, but you don't even know it. And Targum and Metatron is the link between the human and divine. When I talk about your Metatron energy, and in many sacred texts, Enoch is referred to as what? Ethiopian Abyssinian. In sacred scriptures, Ethiopian, Nubian, and Cushite has become synonymous. And even to support this science to the Ethiopian Enoch, we what we got to do is we examine the fact that the first book of Enoch is entirely in what? Ethiopic. In Ethiopic. And his work is canonized almost exclusively by the Ethiopian Phalacia Temple and the other Coptic churches on Ge'ez, which points to a what? Recognition of a native son, an ancestor, since Ethiopia houses the oldest Hebrew Israelite and Christian traditions and people. The first book of Enoch is in fact called Ethiopic Enoch, and parts of it were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. And Ethiopia is the only country which comes close to the Enoch figure as he relates to its geography and chronologically. Since Ethiopia is thought to be the place where one can find the origins of man himself, Enoch is known as the seventh seed form of the first biblical man, Adam. You know, they talk about, I'm the seventh son of the seventh son, and they make moves and they try to implement themselves in it, and you think it's all a myth, but they taking your science and they implanted it themselves in it. That's why you think everything is fake. And I tell y'all, get the 1599 Geneva Bible, and they talk about Ed Menelik the Blackamoor. It don't say African or nothing. It says Ed Menelik the Blackamoor. They tell you the sons of Ham was cursed. Bullcrap. They were blessed. I'm telling you, man. They stories is lied. And they story, in they biblical story, it tell you that the Almighty God will later make a covenant with Noah and his three sons. Japhet, expansion, Ham, hot, sunburnt, blackened, oblique, dark, swarthy, brown, traveler. Shem, shame, and bless them. Genesis 9:9, Genesis 9:1. God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Yeah, I know. I keep telling you, man, one of the Masonic tricks, man, is they put the truth right in your face and they make it mythology because they know you don't know your history. I keep teaching the seventh son of the seventh son, the seventh son of the seventh son. When you look at Johnny Quest and you see his comrade and you see who the young boy is, how he saved the dad, he can elevate and all that. And his turban and his fez and all that, all stuff. Even in G.I. Joe, you got the two twins. I forget their name. They was mercenaries. They turned blue in the sun. I'm telling you, man, they put it right in your face. Now you come to the infamous so-called curse of Ham. Genesis 9:25 explains Noah had partaken wine and became inebriated, and his son Ham found him in a state undressed, behaving in a particular manner. This goofy stuff. Upon his discovery, Ham immediately told his brothers, Japhet and Shem, they supposedly covered his father, blah, blah, blah. But that was his nakedness. That's the stupidest stuff you have. You're going to talk about you cursed. But in the scriptures, nobody was never cursed with no black skin. But you were cursed with pale skin, leprosy, and your kids forever. If the scripture says, put your hand in the bosom, and it came out white as snow, then you put it back in and it came back to your natural color. So if you understand any reasoning, you know the skin wasn't white. This is basic stuff. And I can go deeper and deeper with this. You get cursed because you saw your son and your dad naked. Man, get out of here with that stuff. Don't y'all understand God's blessing of Noah was a fulfillment of a covenant made with Enoch, that a remnant of his posterity would always be found among all nations? Book of Moses 7:52. If we're going to tell a story, let's tell a story the right way. If they're going to tell a story, let's tell a story the right way. If we're going to tell a story. And that Noah would be born of his lineage through Methuselah, Book of Moses 8:2. Lamech chose the name Noah because of the comfort the child would bring to his family in their foil, Book of Moses 8:9. Through Noah had brothers and sisters. Information about them is little to none. We can go deep and deep. Don't y'all know in the Ark Marine's degree, the master is Noah, and the senior and junior wardens are Japhet and Shem. Ham is omitted. You must always look carefully at the stone the builders rejected. This is too simple. Noah's son Ham had 4 sons: Cush, fire like burnt, blackened, combustible, burnt, front, Ethiopia, Nubia, master craftsman, sacred, priestly race, Muur, Mizraim, Egypt, force, black soil, African soil, Put, black man, offspring, black offspring, Canaan, merchant, pirate, that which humbles and subdues, Muur, science was primarily handed down from Ham to his firstborn son, Cush, and his fourth son, Canaan, secondly to Mizraim and Hut. The science of the number 5 was perfected by prophet Enoch. This science of 5 manifested in the 365. Watch this. 3 plus 6 equals 9, plus 5 equals 14, equals 5 years. Enoch existed before his transfiguration. When more and more science was handed down from Ham to his firstborn son, Cush, it was in the most sacred form. The science was then communicated and transferred to Mizraim, the second, and Hut, the third son. Canaan, the fourth of Ham's sons, became like the Omega, and Cush the Alpha. Even though they talk about some curse of Ham, the mainstream religious community, mostly Europeans, seized this part of scripture and used it to justify the plight of people of African descent. But this could not hold no truth because of the prosperous civilizations that come out of Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Then they modified the curse to include Canaan only. When you read in Deuteronomy, they talk about a Canaanite, a Moabite, Amalekite can't enter the kingdom of God. Who you think they talking about? Your black butt, per se, your Moorish hair strip. But we know that ain't true. My question to all that is this: when in scripture has a mere prophet had the authority to curse one's own grandsons for mentioning a transgression of their father, and this was after God Almighty had blessed Noah and his sons. If we're going to tell a story. Furthermore, wasn't it a Canaanite woman that was granted a blessing of exorcising or exorcising demons from her daughter in Matthew 15, 22 and 28? And you got to understand that one's progeny is to curse oneself, right? And you call this type of biblical scripture inserted scripture, and inserted to serve a certain purpose, which at its root is basically prejudicial or racist or prejudice. I can get deeper and deeper if we're going to tell a story, man, but I'm done. Any questions? Any questions? I can get deep, man, with this teachings, man. Noble Drew Ali was the most significant yet almost forgotten spiritual leader of the 20th century, y'all. Y'all got to know this. They try to act like a mystery about our prophet. Man, I know everything about our prophet, man. Noble Drew Ali stated in the Moorish Guide newspaper, September 14th, 1928, the 4 primary goals of the Moorish movement are as follows. 1. Dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress. Number 2. Aid in the improvement of health and encouragement, the ownership of better homes. 3. Find employment for members. 4. Teach those fundamental principles which are described for our civilization, such as obedience to divine law, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. Noble Drew Ali believed you couldn't change a people's thinking until you changed their literature. Noble Drew Ali used the Moorish Guide weekly newspaper for this purpose. Noble Drew Ali and his editors believed the only way to have an accurate account of Moorish science temple's contributions to society was to teach them, and their teachings through their weekly newspaper, and my teachings through our school. However, the Moorish Guide was by no means on all American organizations and individuals alike. It was Noble Drew Ali's contention that Americans, Aboriginals, were actually descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamites, Canaanites, Cush, Hittites, and Amorites, which in modern-day Morocco, Algeria, Tunis, Libya, and Tripoli, connecting ourselves back to the biblical scriptures, not dissing nothing when I see these Moors with that goofy stuff. Who told you that your Messiah was white? Wait, where in the Bible, where in the scripture tell you that Yahshua or connotated wrong, Jesus was white? Wait. Ain't none. All signs and symbols, all pictures. Ain't nobody, it ain't in no scriptures. Your grandma them told you that. Some Moorish grandma got a picture of white Serapis Christos or Caesar Borgia on a wall. On a wall. You lying on the scriptures. He gave his followers the title suffix or of bey. Is the business or law governing attributes used by Turks and Ottomans. or El, is the spiritual attribute of Moor science to their names. Both titles are Islamic titles. Noble Drew Ali prepared a Holy Quran of Circle 7 and on the cover, copyright 1927. You can trace their origin of most of the Circle 7 Quran to the Aquarian Gospels of Jesus Christ by Levi Downey. I'm just telling you, it all synchronized unto the grant and our Moorish Akashic records, which give an account of Christ's life from 12 through his early 30s in Asia, India, and Africa. Levi Downey explained his compilation, Aquarian Gospels, was derived from what? The Akashic records. The Akashic records reside in the highest realm of transcendental consciousness, called supreme intellect or universal enlightenment. And according to Levi, anyone reaching a highly elevated transcendental state could read the Akashic records, which was made of spiritual substance, not physical. That's why I be laughing at Moors. I'm like, you don't know what the Akashic records are because you're not operating 720. All you're doing is buying items. I know Moors are not studying. I know Moors are just posting memes. That is not Moor science. And then when somebody corrects you with them goofy memes you posting, Moors get mad because you lazy. And that ain't Moor science. So stop portraying that's Moor science. That's lazy. Moors only doing they posting memes. That's lazy. Levi Aquarian Gospels seems to have been borrowed from the book of Proverbs and the book of James and the Holy Bible. Also, according to the author, Edward Curtis, he borrowed from the what? Incogniti Jesus Christ in 1894 by Nicholas Nachovich. I got all these texts who might also have influenced other founders and authors of Jesus in India in 1889. Noble Drew Ali was accused of plagiarizing his Moorish Quran. But why couldn't a mystic of Noble Drew Ali's ability read these Akashic records himself, just like I've done? Noble Drew Ali's Holy Quran has been traced to the what? Unto the I grant in 1925. Most of my students, y'all got that book. And I'm going to show y'all how it synchronizes. That's why I be laughing at these Moors. They dissing stuff. That's why they're not operating 720, and that's why they losing, because they poor and broke. It was published by the Supreme Lodge of the Ancient and Mystical Order of the Rosicrucians, Al-Morok, or Amorok, or Amorok. How's it going, brother?
You woke?
Oh, yeah.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Islam, brother.
Raphael.
Mine, Kareem. Brother
Good to meet you, man.
You
All
too.
right. So you work here?
Yeah, it's my store.
All right.
Yeah, how can I help you, man?
Man, I got an interview coming up,
Okay.
you know, and I want to see what kind of color. They say blue. You supposed to wear blue for an interview?
I wouldn't want to wear black, remind me of funeral per se, but I would do blue.
Blue?
Yeah, I would do blue, white shirt, a nice baby tie with some little color, not too much. I'd do a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and pocket square for
You said
260.
3 feet?
Yeah.
Not 2 feet?
Nope. I got 2-piece, but they're only blue in certain colors. But most of my suits have vests.
Okay.
And they all 260. You can get a shirt, 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and pocket square for 260. If you just want the suit, it's $219. And then my alterations charge $12 to hem your pants. And she leave every day at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. Let me give you my card, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of you personally, man. Anything you need, I'll take care of you, man.
Got you.
My name Kareem.
All right, Kareem.
Of course, man.
Good to meet you,
You
man.
too, man.
All right.
Yep, Islam, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Told y'all, man, it's real life with me. Any other question? I'm done teaching. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Do y'all know that? This is our science. This is our science. And its translator, Sir Ramatherio, aka Harvey Spencer Lewis, claims the book was originally written in 1760 and called The Economy of Life by Tibetan monks. The Tibetan copy was translated in 1749. So what does the cover of the Moorish Quran says? Why these teachings was hidden? Somebody give it to me. Y'all say y'all study Moorish science. What does the introduction are the reason why these teachings has been hidden? What does it say? What does it say? Y'all say y'all study Moorish science? And then y'all dissing history, y'all dissing holy books, and y'all not synchronizing. What does the introduction of our Moorish Quran say? I know, and then Moors talk about they studying the teachings of our prophet, and they dissing something. And then I show you in our ayahs, our prophet said, children, your hair is not kinky, it's woolly like your brother Jesus. Come on, man. So what are y'all talking about? Or y'all think I'm talking about some white god or something like that? No. Because you've been taught wrong. So what did the introduction of your Moorish Quran state, Moors? Every Moor, most of the Moors say they study the Moorish science. They don't even have the Moorish Quran. So how you studying your spirituality and you don't even have the holy book which the prophet gathered and compiled? I'll wait. What does the introduction of our Moorish Quran state? But what does it say? Why these teachings have been hidden? What does it say? I just broke it down in layman terms. Why these teachings have been hidden and who had them? What does it say? What does it say? Listen to me. Listen to me again. Noble Drew Ali was accused of plagiarizing his Moorish Quran Circle 7. But why couldn't a mystic like him and myself have the ability to read the Akashic records? Noble Drew Ali's Holy Quran has been traced to the Unto Thee I Grant in 1925, published by the Supreme Lodge of the Ancient and Mystical Order of the Rosicrucians, Morocco. Its title was previously Infinite Wisdom, published 1923. Its translator, Sir Ramathiel, a.k.a. Harvey Spencer Lewis, claims the book was originally written in 1760 and called The Economy of Life by Tibetan monks. The Tibetan copy was translated in 1749. So why, what does our Moorish Quran say why these teachings have been hidden? Because who had them? They keep them buried. And now we unveil and we unleash the keys. The Tibetan copy was translated in 1749. The preface in my copy of Unto Thee Grant, the publisher claimed the book was written by Akhenaten, Pharaoh of Egypt, during the years of 1360 to 1350 BC. And Akhenaten founded a brotherhood. What brotherhood? The Silent Brotherhood of the East. That brotherhood, based on the one God hypothesis, monotheism. Many of the Eastern and Oriental disciples or disciplines are traced back to this brotherhood. So you see, there is nothing new under the sun, and the universal wisdom becomes adopted by each adapt or organization throughout. Simple. At age 7, our prophet's parents passed away. You know, they say he escaped a fire that claimed his abusive aunt's life, and then he was adopted by Cherokee Indians in a mountainous region of western North Carolina. Drew Ali had a revelation that God was with him. We can talk all about that later. Our prophet founded the Moor Science Temple. In 1916, Noble Drew Ali founded the Moorish Divine and National Movement of North America. Of course, World War I, 1914 and 1918 was in full swing, and it was said that Noble Drew Ali moved to Chicago around 1919. Yeah. He was quoted as having said he was to be closer to Islam, and in March 1919, El Rasuli broke off all communication with Spanish authorities after their continued aggression. Man, I'll break all this down. In February 1921, Abel El Krim, scholar and military leader, warned advancing Spanish forces not to cross American Morocco. Ali, similar phonetically to America, Muhammad ibn Abdul El Karim al-Qadabi, 1882 and 1963 AD. Abel El Krim was born in Adrid, Morocco, and died in Cairo, Egypt. Krim was the leader of the resistance movement against Spanish and France rule in North Africa. He was the founder of the Republic of Rif in 1921 and 1926. Man, I can go on and on. On July 23, 1921, 3,000 Moors led by Krim defeated 14,000 Spaniards. Over 13,000 Spaniards were killed. By June 1924, General Primo Rivera, the Spanish dictator, declared himself High Commissioner of Morocco. In December 1924, the Spanish withdrew from Auxin, Xauen in November 1924. Krim captured his nemesis, the gangster pirate El Rasuli, in Ixen. You may gain further insight in this. I'm going to show you. It's a movie, The Wind and the Lion, starring Sean Connery. Watch that. It's a movie called The Wind and the Lion, starring Sean Connery. I hope y'all watch it. I told y'all, they'll put everything. That's one of the Masonic tricks, man. They think you so dumb. Of course, a Hollywood-produced movie. And so many of the Moors are played by Europeans. So many Moors are played by Europeans. I'm telling you, it's just what it is. And it's interesting, while Noble Drew Ali was firmly established, the MSTA, and their identity in Chicago, Illinois, in 1925, Krim and his forces was regaining much of Morocco and was only 20 miles from entering Fez. And in August 1925, over 160,000 French troops and 75,000 Spanish troops combined forces against Krim. And in October 1925, the tide turned in favor of the combined French and Spanish forces. And this also includes mercenaries from the puppet Moroccan regiment. They seized Adixder, the capital general, to Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. This was the same year Egypt, 1947, King Muhammad V, Morocco honored him with the title National Hero. Man, I can go on and on. In 1925, Drew Ali called the temple the Moore Science Temple of America, and at the same time in Egypt, Howard Carter was allowed re-entry to King Tut's tomb after being banned. In November 29, 1926, Noble Drew Ali incorporated the temple and renamed it the Moore Science Temple of America. And in 1926, Marcus Garvey was incarcerated. In 1927, Garvey was deported to Jamaica, West Indies, leaving a void that Noble Drew Ali filled. During the same year, in 1927, the Rif War in Morocco finally ended, with the French and Spanish forces victorious. And in 1928, the first Moorish National Convention was held in Chicago. On July 20th, 1929, Noble Drew returned to the Essence. Burr Oak Cemetery is his resting place. Later the same year, Black Friday occurred on October 28th. 1929, the New York Stock Exchange collapsed. Man, I can get deep with this science. You got to remember, man, Levi Dowling, that Aquarian Gospels, yes, he was the spiritual theosophist, but that science come from, I told you, I got all the manuscripts, man. I have elders that work at Cambridge and Oxford University that go to all the monuments, that do the archaeology. And Levi Dowling, Aquarian Gospels of Jesus Christ was written in 1908. And then they say our prophet stuff was written in 1927. But you gotta, once you start researching the language, you see where the language come from. So our prophet didn't plagiarize nobody. He didn't get it from Levi Dowling. It came from other history. How you doing, brother? Looking for something particular?
No.
Yeah. But that's it, man. And I'm giving you the theosophical, esoteric, oriental teachings. That's what it is. Yeah. The war was going on. And they're not going to tell you that. Right? Remember I tell y'all about the sacred drift? Most Moors not even going to teach you about the sacred drifts of Peter Lambert Wilson. And in Sacred Drift, research Levi's Aquarian Gospels was a rendition of the La Vinlecone de Jesus Christ by Nicholas Notovich in 1894, a Russian Jew converted to Orthodox who discovered an ancient manuscript in Tibetan Montessori. It dealt with the Indian travels of Saint Isa. And I'm going to show you Sunday when I teach the biblical scripture, when we have a service, I'm going to show you how the Quran and the biblical scriptures testify. I told you, no European man is ancient. Just like I told y'all, the Book of Mormon, it comes from the view of the Hebrews, and they get all the science from somewhere because there ain't nothing ancient about them, and they know that you don't study, and they know only a handful of people that's going to be a scholar, and the scholars that know this, they took an oath not to tell you the truth. And any person that's a scholar, and they talking that black noise and knowing damn well ain't nobody black finna get nothing, you need to run away from that. The founder of the Ahmadiyya sect of Islam, Mirza Ghulam Hazrat Ahmed, also produced a work on Jesus entitled Jesus in India in 1899, also inspired by Notovich. Hazrat Ahmed, February 13, 1835, May 26, 1908. Ahmed passed the same year of Dowling's publishing the Aquarian Gospel. And Ahmed was a respected scholar and mystic, the same way I'm respected in my field of scholarship. That's why I don't give a damn what no goofball Negro think about me. You can do everything for a dumb Negro. He gonna still find something negative. You can teach a person great stuff, and they gonna still, somebody might give you a thumbs down, because that's what Negroes do. Kill themselves willingly and hate on their own brother. That's what Negroes do. In 1891, he announced in India that he was the Messiah prophesied both in the Holy Bible and the Quran. Ahmad had written a book, Brahim Abriyaya, which served as a blueprint for his community. I'm telling you, man. That's why I say I ain't worried about no goofball Negro. You can't do nothing for a Negro, because you give a Negro $1 million, he gonna ask you for $2 million. So I steer away from that. I deal with science. I deal with, look, that's like Cheers. Don't you want to go where people know your name? I go where I'm wanted. That's why most of my teachings is not, we Moors. Most of my teachings is scholarship. I'm successful in life. I got businesses, I do everything. And that's what being a Moor is about. Being productive and being able to employ your people, being able to teach. being able to help brothers and sisters. So I know what these goofball Moors about. A lot of these Moors want to sell you stuff. A whole bunch of Moors that's selling you items, selling you fake stuff, selling you fake ID cards, selling you fake passports, selling you fake plates, selling you fake ID cards, selling you a whole bunch of items. And next year you're going to be just the same. Nothing. Your kids ain't going to know nothing. Ain't going to be part of nothing. They can't teach you more science because they don't know it. They don't have the literature. They don't have a library. All they do is Google University. Where's the literature? Where's the ancient books? Where's the ancient manuscripts? I want the source. I want the source where it come from so you can synchronize it. They ain't going to do it. I'll give you the source. Man, I can give you so much stuff, it don't even make sense. Hazrat Inayat Khan. Hazrat Inayat Khan, July 5th, 1882, February 2nd, 1927. Khan was the founder of the Sufi tradition in the West. Remember I told you our religion is Islamism, Sufism, Hebrewism, God and man is one, ancient Zoroastrianism, before Islam and so-called Christianity. Hazrat Khan was born in the same month Noble Drew Ali passed, on July. Hazrat Khan returned to the essence on the 2nd, and Noble Drew Ali returned on the 20th. Had Hazrat expired 2 days earlier, he would have died the same month that Drew Ali manifested in the flesh. No, they don't got no library. They just be Google University. I be watching they jump on to Google University. And when I saw some more trying to break down the science, and I'm like, man, you giving European explanations. I'm telling you where the science come from. Don't give me no European explanation of the zodiac laws. That's garbage. They were born 4 years apart. Samuel L. Lewis, October 8th, 1896, January 15, 1971. Samuel Lewis met Hazrat Khan around 1923 and was initiated the same year. Hazrat Khan declared Lewis the protector of the message. Lewis traveled to Egypt in 1960 and was initiated into the Rifai and Shadil Sufi orders. Just like I tell Moors, this is 99 degrees. Ancient Memphis right in measurement. I'm not under no European science, man. You have to have degrees if you call yourself a sheikh and adapt and a magi. And I'm a scholar. It's just what it is. Hell, I didn't go through the fire to come out plain. I came through the fire to bring us back to who we are. You know? Harvey Spencer Lewis. Spencer Lewis was the founder of the Order of the Rosicrucians, author of The Ancient and Mystical Life of Jesus, 1929. The book was largely based on the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ. Spencer Lewis was initiated in the Egyptian rite in 1921. Spencer Lewis Order believed their history descended from the ancient Egyptian mystery school system, which first Grand Master was who? Akhenaten. He was the first in a long line of masters, including so-called King Solomon. Watch this. Jesus, which is Yeshua, Filio, Sir Francis Bacon, Benjamin Franklin. But y'all got to know, what happened to Haram of Beef? What happened to Haram of Beef of Tariq? I'm telling you, man. The stone that was rejected. Much similar to the teachings of our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Rosicrucians believe, besides the physical body, there is a greater inner self, your higher self. And this secret, called the Golden Secret, is the key to the meaning of life and death and development of transcendent psychic powers, or our voodoo, which includes projection of one's consciousness out of body. And Harvey Spencer was born in 1883, 3 years before our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Man, I can get all deep with this science. Remember I told you about Pascal Beverly Randolph? October 8th, 1825, July 25, 1875. He was around the same time with Aleister Crowley and Adam Blavatsky, and they tell you all that science come from Moors. Aleister Crowley tried to name himself Serapis Bey. I'm telling you, man. Born in New York City, Randolph had been called the founder of the Rosicrucian Order in America. He was said to have gained his knowledge by traveling to North Africa, Egypt, Syria, Arabia, Palestine, and Turkey. Pascal's father abandoned him at an early age. This happened shortly after his mother passed. As a result, Pascal lived hand to mouth on their inner city streets, blah, blah, blah. That's what they say. At age 16, he shipped out as a sea boy. Who was the sea boy? The same thing they tried to say our prophet was when he was a rail car guy, getting bags off the trains. But Randolph was accused of being part of an African stock from his mother's side of the family. And these allegations he often denied, but at times would play to his advantage. Books written by Pascal, such as The Rosicrucian Story, 1863, Seership, 1868, Eleusis, The Affectional Alchemy, 1875. You know, You got to understand, our prophet knew these sciences and studied these sciences. Randolph championed many Aboriginal causes, such as their right to vote. Randolph also taught amongst many free slaves. Randolph was born the same day as Noble Drew Ali, the 8th, and he died the same month of July, as our prophet did. He was said to have been an influencer upon Helen Blavatsky. Who? The European Helen Blavatsky. The secret wisdom is all more science. How I know? I told y'all, I'm an elite at the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles. I told you I did one of the biggest lectures with a whole bunch of Negro, black, and colors that thought they were Freemasons, and at the end of it, they all were stepping on their fezzes that was written on, and I got them all fezzes. I think it was 83 Moors. I'm gonna call them Moors. They took them damn defiled Western fezzes off and stepped on them. And I said, why y'all don't wear y'all fez in the real world? They couldn't say nothing. At the end of the day, they took them boys off. I'm telling you, I got a whole different life that I live, man. I'm a teacher. I'm an adept. At the age of 50, Randolph allegedly committed suicide by shooting himself in the head because of problems in a romantic relationship. Helen Pravana Blavatsky, July 30th, 1831, May 8, 1891. HPB, as she was known, was described as having a large piercing eyes, just like mine. You see them eyes? You see them eyes? And almost hypnotic qualities. Like when I start, once we get the physical temple and I really start having Moors come out here, when I work with my meditation bowls, my Tibetan bowls and my crystal bowls, and how I do our meditations and how I put us in a out-of-body experience, I teach these things, man. I teach us about our Moor Salat. These are things that it comes with me. It's a lot that comes with it. As though she could see right through you, but you in turn could not see through her psychic veil. She had an oversized head and she weighed over 225 pounds. She is said to have been in spiritual contact with the ancient masters. Okay, as she described her first meeting, a striking turbaned man of the East. Her secret master went by the name or attributes Serapis Bey, Titit Bey, Mahatma Moriah, and Robert Moore. And then I just give y'all all the spellings of Moore in the last one, in part 1. All attributes signifying Moor, M-U-U-R and M-O-O-R, identity. And Blavatsky and Henry Steele all founded the Theosophical Society in 1875. She will later form an alliance with C.W. Ledbetter and receive all the Masonic degrees of the East, just like I have. You see this? Don't let nobody teach you. It's our science. Her major works, Isis Unveiled, 1877, and Secret Doctrine, 1888, were widely used in esoteric circles and might have been read by our prophet Noble Drew Ali. You gotta note that she was born in the same month of July as our prophet Noble Drew Ali. She passed on the same day, the 8th, as our prophet Noble Drew Ali. Rudolf Steiner, February 27, 1861, March 30th, 1925. Rudolf Steiner taught through the method of initiation. He taught the law of the 7, which taught levels of the mind and stages of cosmic evolution. Steiner was a theosophist. He also was initiated in the Egyptian rite. Later, he formed his own Anthroposophical Society in February 1930. The same year, our prophet Noble Drew Ali opened the Canaanite Temple, and Noble Drew Ali could have been influenced by Steiner's greatest works, Knowledge of the Higher Worlds, and its attainment in 1904, and the Theosophy in 1904. Just like I am, and I'm a scholar, man, we gotta get to the source. Rudolf Steiner believed in uniting the scientific world with the spiritual world. He believed matter and spirit were equally real. Man, I can keep going on with all these people, and Max Hindell, Thomas Brugon, Prophet George William Hurley. But I'ma stop. Even the Masonic connection, when y'all Moors getting it twisted. Noble Drew Ali's teaching were rich in Masonic symbolism. Research the signs and symbols of the primordial man by Albert Churchward. The European tell you everything. The information states that Noble Drew Ali was made a Mason by the most worshipful King Solomon Grand Lodge in Chicago, Illinois, sometime in the early mid-20s. I don't know why Moors be dissing they science. I'm like, oh, so where do you think all this science system come from? Or it just came out your head. Stop playing. Y'all giving the science to somebody outside yourself, and that's the problem. Our prophet utilized many symbols that were thought to be Masonic in nature, such as the all-seeing eye of providence and the omnipresence, the five-pointed star, the handshake or the grip of unity, the unfinished spiritual pyramid of the temple, the usage of Egyptian pyramids, the Arabian camels, the star and crescent, their heraldic symbol, the five-pointed star, bordered by lions, crown to the north, floridelis to the south, and the Sphinx relate to Freemasonry via the nobles of the mystic shrine order. Chapter 5 of our Moor's Quran, the 7, is the most Masonic in content. This becomes quite evident when examining the working tools of Master Masons and Royal Arch Mariners degrees and comparing them to the working tools of the workshop of the mind mentioned in Chapter 5 of our Moor's Quran. And the Royal Arch Marines and Master Masons working tools are the axe, the saw, the auger, the square, the level, the plumb, which they killed Haram Beef with, the troll, the 24-inch gauge, and the common gavel, which they buried them with. You see what I'm saying? The working tools of the workshop of the mind are the square, the compass, the axe, the hammer, the plane, the chisel, the plummet, the saw. The exactness of some tools is apparent. The others are as follows. The auger of the Arch Marine's degree is the chisel in the circle 7. The trawler in the Masonic degree is the plane in the circle 7. I hope y'all writing this down. The 24-inch gauge in masonry is the line in the circle 7. The level of Freemasonry can be compared to the compass in the circle 7. Are y'all following me? They both can measure and temper life. Y'all ain't even listening to me, are y'all? There is a distinct possibility Noble Drew Ali was initiated into the Cherokee Kitawa Secret Society. The Kitawa, the Ketooowah Society, believed in the autonomy of the Cherokee people and resisted the Indian removal to Oklahoma by moving to the hills of North Carolina and even to Mexico. The Kewatawa Indians were opposed to slavery and indentured servitude. I can keep going on, man, but I'm done. I love you all, Moors. Don't miss Sunday school. I'm gonna illuminate the biblical scripture and the Quran and show you how they synchronize. Cash App, $ KGB, man. We use the donations to ship out books and stuff for our members. Moors, everybody that paid your initial fee, everything's getting ready to come to you this week. So be patient with me. Islam.